Hello everyone, I'm sure you've all seen Harry's garage. Well now, welcome to mine. Far more modest. I've never really officially filmed much in here because, if I'm being honest, I was quite embarrassed about the state of the place. However, a bit of an enforced holiday and it's now actually somewhat clean and tidy. In fact, the only rubbish remaining in here is the stuff that I've bagged up that I physically cannot get rid of because the bins aren't being collected. But I thought I would use the opportunity to create this little extra bonus video, and it is genuinely that, a bonus video showing you a few things, a few bits of memorabilia, some old stuff left over from my previous life as a film cameraman, and just some cool and nice stuff, plus a few different products that I've been sent, which I've been meaning to do videos on, but simply haven't, and so seem worth showing you all now, because I'm sure, like me, you're spending a lot of time at home thinking of what you're going to buy on the internet as soon as you possibly can. So, without any further ado, let's get started, and let's get started by getting some light in here. This company recently got in touch with me and asked me if I wanted to review any of their products. They sell quite a few different things, lights, little screens for DSLRs, all that sort of stuff. And I said, yes, actually, you know what? When I started doing all of my filming in the office type videos, one of the things that I wasn't very happy with was my lighting. As a former film and TV cameraman, I do notice these things, believe it or not, and they are the sort of thing that I want to improve. Now, these things amaze me because I remember when LED lighting was a fairly new thing about a decade ago, in fact. I wish it was a year ago. And panels like these cost a fortune. The cheap ones came along and they were, by and large, absolutely terrible. But now you can actually get a half-decent cheap one which produces reasonably nice light, certainly nice enough for what we're doing here. So they do a kit for 150 quid and you get two of these and two of these basic little lighting stands which are perfectly strong enough to support this, and you get a cable and it's everything you need. These are bi-colour lights, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. So I'm going to rig this up now. And one of the great things about LED lights is that they're very energy efficient, meaning that you don't actually even have to run them off of the mains. You can in fact power them from little batteries here. These look like small Sony batteries. So what you do, simply plug it in, turn it on, and then you've got a choice of what they call white or yellow lights, which you might know as daylight or tungsten, or some people call them cool white and warm white. So that's your cooler white, and that is your yellow. Now, for the interviews inside, I've actually been using a little bit of a mix. So you just warm the light ever so slightly, which I actually quite like. So I'm now going to get this in place. And one little trick for you from my old cameraman days, when you're raising a light stand, and these aren't the most sturdy of things, but they're also pretty lightweight. When you're raising a light stand, you always raise from the top first. You don't raise from the bottom, because some light stands in the film world can get pretty big and you wind up with the adjustment way up high where you can't actually get to it. They call it a cameraman's lift if you do that, because with a tripod, you do it the other way around. You raise it from the bottom legs first, or the bottom adjustment first. Just a fun fact for you. How's that? A little bit better? The next cool little thing I got sent was this very cute little enamel pin of a yellow S2000 from Joe from Petrolhead Pins. I don't know what you're actually meant to do with a pin, but thank you, Joe, for sending me this. I am going to stow it on my newly erected shelf, which is part of my grand plan to try and keep the garage nice and neat and tidy. And it's actually quite nicely made. Very cool little thing. Cheers for that. And this is going to go front and centre, nicely and neatly, right in here. Look at that. Perfect. And of course, links for all of the stuff in this video is going to be in the description below. So first stop on the curio tour, let's talk helmets. Quiet you at the back. Now, a lot of people might not know, but I actually got my motorbike license before my driving license. I've always had an interest in motorbikes. The only bikes I've ever really owned have been scooters, but I have ridden quite a few, including some interesting ones, and I may feature some more on the channel, and yes, I will be, of course, featuring one today. But at the back here, we have my little gallery of helmets. Now, the majority of them bear some considerable damage. These ones are not mine, these are my dad's, because he used to do a lot of motorbike racing, including reasonably recently. So this is an Arai, as is that, and that. He has a thing for Arai. This one is an old helmet of mine. I think it might be one of his spares, KBC. This one is custom Doctor Who spray and painted, and it was a gift for my 18th birthday, I think. This KBC up here was the first helmet that I ever owned. Always very important to make sure that whatever helmet you have is reasonably new. Less than, I think, about 5 years always used to be the guidance. And that's why, even though there's nothing wrong with either of these, they are now retired and up here in the shelf. Some of these have been quite high-speed crashes. This one, I think, as you can tell from the fairly serious scarring, I think it was about 150 mile an hour at the back straight of Snetterton, possibly. Certainly one of these was. It might have even been this one, because I do remember that crash. The damage wasn't that bad, and this one's actually really, you can tell. Some of these, I can tell you with great certainty, have been in some pretty serious smashes, and there is a helmet next door, which I won't be showing you, that was actually involved in a fatal accident 20 years ago, and if I told you that it was brand new, out of the box, never used, you would believe me. So if you are a biker, you're getting into bikes, and you're thinking of buying a helmet, please don't buy one secondhand. Buy a new one, because they may one day save your life. And that's why I have these up here, because they are a sort of proof of the many times that my dad got himself into trouble, and well, we all hope the best, don't we? But of course it doesn't always happen. That's why that helmet is next door. And I even have 2 sets of very nice leathers that have been cut apart. I'm working out where to stow these at the moment. These are expensive, but again, they were probably some of the best investments he ever made, because they saved his skin quite literally. And then if you want something really weird in the back of my garage, there's a Dreamcast up there. I sometimes wonder if being a YouTuber is a little bit like being a primary school teacher, because you're constantly dealing with immature people and then angry parents that think you've insulted their child, and you also have nowhere near as much free time as everybody tells you that you do. Something that I used to love doing is cleaning my car, and I got a huge collection of detailing stuff over there from many different brands, but I just don't often have the time. Fortunately, I do at the moment, so I've been indulging in that and trying to clear out the signs of, well, someone with a bit of an addiction. I am a hoarder. I think I do buy some of these cleaning products because I like the look of them rather than necessarily the product itself. I recently shot a video with Sam from Sam's Detailing, and unfortunately you're not actually going to be able to see that video for a little while. Now, if you want to know more about that, I'm actually including it as part of the live stream that I'm doing, and that's the live stream that's going to go out tonight, if I can get this video edited in time. So please do join me for that. I'm going to be editing a video, just taking you through my normal process, so if you're interested in the creation process of YouTube, it's well worth watching. They did send me away with this nice little detailing sample kit, and I have to say, it makes my inner OCD sort of little cretin gremlin thing quite happy, because look how nicely presented it is. There's, what do you got? This ceramic boost stuff. This is quite cool. So this is kind of like a, I don't know how to describe it really. It feels almost like a Rain-X type thing. It's a sort of ceramic coating type thing that you spray on as you're cleaning the car, as you're wiping it down. Exterior detail, you got glass cleaner, you got interior detailer, which is quite useful, iron reactor, which is sort of pH neutral type thing. You got a shampoo, a wax, and a snow foam. Now, I've only tried the shampoo, the iron reactor, and the interior detailer so far, and they were all quite nice, quite decent. I love these cute little bottles. Look how cute they are. So they're doing a deal on this kit at the minute, which is 30 quid down from 35, which is quite decent for 8 little miniature products. I feel, but see, look, I have to put this back on the right way, because otherwise I feel like I haven't done it correctly. And I feel like my grandmother, because whenever I buy her an Easter egg, she will not eat it because she thinks it's too pretty to look at. And I almost feel the same way about that. But there is something in this garage that I know you all want to see, and the reason that you are here. Let's get on to that now. This is my grandfather's motorbike. Well, it's actually, technically speaking, my motorbike, because he hasn't been around for 21 years this Easter Sunday, but I've never actually shared this all with you. It's in need of a light recommissioning, but it actually did work when it was parked up. Now, it last had an MOT in 1995. It was running and it was working, and it's a very unusual machine. It is what is known as a Triton. What is a Triton? Well, it is a hybrid. No, it's not electric powered. What it is a combination of a Norton frame with a Triumph engine. The simple reason being that at the time, Norton had the best handling bike, but Triumph apparently had the best engines. More specifically, this one is a 1960 Norton Slimline Dominator frame with a Triumph engine. I believe it's a T110 Tiger unit. So there were a couple of different engines that we used. People that wanted the ultimate power went for the Bonneville engine, which had 2 carbs. This is the single carb model, which is a little bit down on power, but is apparently much more reliable. I don't actually like the looks of this thing at all. The colour scheme is weird, the seat is this horrible kind of vinyl, but the fact is I wouldn't change it for the world because this is my granddad's bike. My hope is to recommission it, tidy up the things that need urgent attention, and then just twice a year potter around the lanes for 20 minutes and then be done, and that'll probably be my motorbiking fix. I have actually had people offer me motorbikes for a review in the past, but the truth is it's been so long since I've ridden one. A, I don't know how to rig my cameras to them because they're all set up for cars and they are very different. And secondly, my motorbike knowledge is so old, out of date and irrelevant that I couldn't say anything meaningful about a bike. So I'm very grateful to the people that do offer me these things. I just can't really do them any justice whatsoever. One thing I do remember about this bike is that it is ruddy loud, and it's no surprise because there's not really anything on the intake and there's not really any silencing either. In here you'll also find the odd souvenir memento quietly tucked away from my days in the film industry, like this, the magazine from a 35mm movie cam. And that's actually a brand name, by the way, movie cam. They made some fantastic cameras, Austrian company, really unburstable things. Some of them are still in service. A few years ago I bought and sold a number of them, and some of the bits that I couldn't sell I just kept because once upon a time this was about 10,000 quid. And nowadays I pretty much can't give it away. I've got a bunch of them kicking around. If anyone wants one, let me know. But what they are is where the film goes. So you have your 35mm movie camera, the film goes in here. They're actually quite clever. This is what's called a displacement magazine. And so the film sits here, spools out, actually it starts here I believe, goes through the camera, gets photographed and back up here. And the reason it's called a displacement magazine is as the film runs through, it does that, it goes side to side because the roll of film, you couldn't get 2 of them side by side, but you don't need to because it runs from here to here, or one way around to the other, can't remember which. Yeah, some cool stuff in here. One of the things my grandfather gave me before he departed this earth was a real fascination with machinery and just how things work in general. For example, this was one of my favourite childhood toys. See if you can guess what car it came from, because honestly, I was too young to remember. I used to love playing around with it and watching the needles move as you operated the little bits on the back. Really fascinated by it. Just simple things really, but it's stuff like this that can make petrolheads of us all, I think. I'll admit that I've been spending probably a little bit too much time in here over the last couple of weeks, just getting all nostalgic. Everywhere I look there are little mementos and souvenirs from past trips. For example, this was on a journey to the Porsche factory to collect a car with my father. Lovely 997.1 Carrera. It was actually brand spanking new, obviously being factory collected, but it was also one of the first 997s out there. Above here we have the tailgate from the MG ZS that Laurie and I bought together, and the car sort of didn't really last all that long with us, but gave me my first sort of big hit video, still my second most popular video for some unknown reasons. If anybody wants a tailgate for an MG ZS first gen saloon, then that's going free. And it's also the number plate off my mother's old 996. If there is anybody out there that's starting in photography, I have a huge stack of about 7 different reflectors and things that are free to a good home. I just need the space really, so if anyone wants those, just drop me a line. The last people I need to mention who've sent me a product is Exeter, who seem to have sent every single YouTuber on planet Earth that I watch one of these things. This is one of their little wallets that they keep trying to sell. They're not especially cheap, but they are very well made. And of course, there's a little code for you to use in the description below. It's primarily for the sort of people that only have cards in their life. Quite a natty thing, really. It reminds me a little bit of the phone in the Matrix, remember that? Not really the sort of wallet for me, to be honest, so I think I'm going to give this out as a gift to someone, but it smelled of proper nice Italian leather, and I bet I look weird doing that, don't I? But what I am more interested in is their little tracking thing, which is really nice and easy to get out, and that you can there's an app thing that you can use to track stuff. But this is only about $30, and they obviously want you to put it in your wallet, but it's a dead cheap way to put a tracker in your car, really. It's solar powered and everything, so that's quite good. But the thing I've been using most of theirs is this handy little wireless charging bank, because now I'm spending a lot of time in the garage, just having somewhere I can just kind of put my phone and use it to play Planet Rock or whatever is quite handy. So this thing actually genuinely useful, so thanks to them for sending that out. But yeah, the wallet, not really for me. But thank you all for joining me for this little miniature tour of my garage. If there's anything else you want to know, please do let me know. Should also give a special shout out to Tim from Tim's Enthusiast Garage, who called me while I was halfway through filming, so don't worry about that, Tim. If you want to see some cool, unusual cars, he's got a Corrado, he's got a nice Esprit, some stuff like that, so hopefully maybe at some point I'll go and see him. But check his channel out, because he's asked me how to get more subscribers, and, well, go and subscribe to him, because he's got some cool stuff and he's a nice guy. But, yeah, thanks so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Bye-bye. And then all of a sudden, just nothing. Oh. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Jay. Thanks for talking. I hope this is an alright time.
Oh, that's okay. I was filming in the garage. There, look, you're on my channel now.